But this one, too, is rejected. Probably just way too much going on here. Like 3 birds, really? Eagle, phoenix, and dove? Come on. So next, they turn to this guy, Charles Thompson, Secretary to the U.S. Congress, 17. You know, the there was a lot of turnover in Congress during the war years, but Thompson is an unsung hero. He is there for the duration, serving as the secretary, the record keeper for Congress throughout the war and beyond. He also evidently wrote a 1,000-page tell-all about the politics of the Revolution a little bit later, and was going to publish it, and it was going to recognize the good, but also expose the bad, skeletons tumbling out of closets. But instead of publishing it, he burned it because he thought people would be more patriotic if they saw the founders as sort of perfect paragons of virtue. Really wish he hadn't burned it. I would have been interested to read what he had to say. Anyhow, Thompson, looking at the last design, is like, you know what? There was way too much going on there, but that eagle is a winner. Let's do something with that eagle. They had already decided that the bald eagle would be the national bird. And so this, by the way, is a couple bald eagles over Hood Canal, photo taken by my high school classmate Mark Deaver. So Thompson's going to work with that, and he comes up with this design. Now, Thompson is an idea man. He's not an artist. I mean, that's not terrible. But in the hands of a good artist, this ends up being the final design of the Great Seal of the United States. So what all's going on here? Well, we've got 13 stripes, 13 stars, 13 arrows representing war in the left talon, an olive branch with 13 leaves and 13 olives in the right talon. So really emphasizing this 13 theme going here. Notice the eagle is facing right because we prefer peace to war, though if necessary, there's a rug in the Oval Office, and in wartime, you can remove the left-facing head and turn it to the right, so during wartime, it's looking at the arrows, and then when peacetime comes again, we can flip it back. Now, the olive branch, of course, represents peace, the arrow's war. This is basically like the classic love-hate knuckle tattoo. And the old slogan, A Pluribus Unum, is back. This, in fact, becomes the national motto. It is the national motto of the United States until 1956. In 1956, our national motto changes. Our current national motto is In God We Trust. This changes in 1956 partly because the 1950s were the peak of religious belief in American history, the highest level of church attendance ever. There were some other things going on in the 1950s, and when we get to the 1950s next year, we will talk about other factors that motivate the transition from A Pluribus Unum to In God We Trust as the official national motto. Though A Pluribus Unum is still in the mix, right? It's still on the seal. They didn't change. They didn't change it on the seal, and they didn't. It still shows up on certain currency. Now, getting back to the 1780s, A Pluribus Unum is also a 13-letter motto. So it sort of completes the theme of 13 here on the Great Seal. At least this is the obverse. This is the front side. Let's check out the flip side. Now, you will recognize this design. We've got the Eye of Providence, the all-seeing Eye of God, back again. The pyramid, it's a 13-step pyramid. It's unfinished, right? Because it's a young country, and it's still building. The slogan here is Deo Favente Perennis, which means God with God's favor forever, right? God's favor perennially. Now, here is Thompson's design, translated in, better rendered by an artist. They, now the all-seeing eye of God is in a little triangle, so it's like the eye of providence is sort of completing the pyramid for us. We've got 1976 here again, but the logo, the motto, Deo Favente Perennis, has been replaced with a new motto, Annuit Seeptus. Now, what does Annuit Seeptus mean? It means has favored our enterprises. In Latin, as in Spanish, you can sometimes leave off a third-person pronoun, and people still, the sentence still works. But it sort of takes God out of it, at least explicitly, right? This can mean he, she, or it has favored, or may it favor our enterprises. Of course, Annuit Seeptus is right up here with the eye of providence, the all-seeing eye of God. So, visually, this means, God has favored our enterprises. So why go with the more vague Annuit Seeptus as opposed to the more specific Deo Favente Perennis? Well, Annuit Seeptus is 13 letters. I mean, it's kind of 13 letters. The O and the E are sort of run together, so they're kind of one character. So arguably just 12. We've got a new slogan here. Oh, also, it's possible that the founders, being deists, didn't want the explicit call out to God. Oh, by the way, a sharp-eyed student earlier today, a couple of them actually, noted that there are 13 shrubs or bits of grass here in front of the unfinished pyramid, which is no longer a stepped pyramid, now smooth-sided, but still 13 layers tall. So there you have it, Great Seal of the United States.